Hello, my name is Stephen Giuliano, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our first Waypoints virtual event, What is a CCRC? The Waypoint series of virtual events was developed by Presbyterian Senior Living to help you navigate the senior living journey, and we're looking forward to sharing a lot of information with you in the coming weeks. Today's presentation is being recorded, and a link to access the recording will be sent to all participants after the event, allowing you to access the recorded content at any time. During today's event, we'll have an opportunity to hear from the President and CEO of Presbyterian Senior Living, Jim Bernardo, about what makes a PSL community such a special place to live. We will then be joined by our Corporate Sales Director, Jennifer Siori, to decode what a continuing care retirement community, or CCRC, actually is. Additional PSL and community staff members will join us to cover a variety of topics, including residential living, at-home services, personal care, assisted living, and skilled nursing. And finally, we'll be joined by a panel of senior living experts to answer your questions. Throughout the event, you will have the opportunity to submit questions to us by clicking on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and typing in your question. In the event that we don't have time to answer your question live today, we will respond to your question via email after the event. With that, I would like to introduce you to Jim Bernardo, the President and CEO of Presbyterian Senior Living. Thanks for being with us today, Jim.
Good morning, and thank you all for joining us for this first corporate-sponsored educational event. Today's presentation is the first of a series of 4 designed to provide you with information that will help you to decide whether you are interested in learning more about continuing care retirement communities and what Presbyterian Senior Living has to offer. Presbyterian Senior Living has a long and rich history of serving older adults for more than 90 years. Our not-for-profit difference means our mission and vision is focused on those that we serve, not necessarily on shareholders seeking to make a profit. From our humble beginnings in Newville, Pennsylvania, serving 9 women in central Pennsylvania, we have grown today to serve more than 6,000 older adults in a variety of communities and socioeconomic backgrounds. PSL serves residents in affordable senior housing, senior rental communities, and of course, continuing care retirement communities, which is what you are here to learn about today. This past year has been challenging for everyone. The staff at PSL, I am proud to say, came together and persevered through extraordinary times to provide exceptional services and care to more than 6,000 people living in one of our communities. I encourage you to attend the entire Waypoint series of events, which culminates in hearing from PSL residents themselves. Their experience in moving in and living is worth hearing about. So thank you very much again for joining us for this session. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Siori, who is our next presenter. Jennifer, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. Hello, everyone. I am Jennifer Siori. I'm the Corporate Director of Sales for Independent Living, Personal Care, and Assisted Living. Presbyterian Senior Living has over 30 locations with multiple service offerings. No one of our communities is the same. Some communities are called Continuing Care Retirement Communities, or CCRCs, and offer a wide variety of different levels of living and care services. Some of our communities offer independent living, some offer affordable housing, and some are standalone personal care. When evaluating a senior living community, it is important to pick one that meets your needs now and meets your potential needs in the future. Most CCRCs are on a campus with many different buildings, amenities, and styles of floor plans and levels of care. These communities often include apartments, villas, cottages, or a combination of independent living homes, as well as affordable senior housing, at-home services, personal care or assisted living, skilled nursing and rehabilitation, memory support, and more, depending on the community. By offering all of these services in one community, residents are able to stay at one place as their needs may grow. Living in a CCRC allows you to take advantage of life-enriching activities and provides a rewarding environment for seniors who strive to keep their minds and bodies in shape. CCRCs aid in supporting your vibrant, independent life by providing assistance with daily living and to caring for you on your last days as your care needs progress. CCRC residents benefit from the comfort and security of knowing that they won't need to leave the community they call home as they require additional care or services. So independent living is also known as residential living in a continuing care retirement community. And it's much different than moving to an apartment complex or condo. There are numerous standard services that help to take the strain off of maintaining a home, which allows residents to explore passions and spend quality time with friends and family doing the things that they love. Some standard services can include maintenance-free living, which is no extra cost for home repairs, landscaping, exterior maintenance to your home. Housekeeping services. Some of our communities include some light housekeeping in their monthly fees or at an additional charge. Meals and various dining options. Many of our communities have multiple dining venues to enjoy all three meals or takeout or delivery services right to your door. Security and transportation. We have buses and private vehicles to transport you to local stores, area conveniences, and appointments as needed. Scheduled events and classes. We offer educational and fitness classes, social clubs, music, and art events, and they're mostly led by our residents right at the community. Residency at our continuing care communities do require meeting financial qualifications, and they're based off of life expectancy, entrance fee amounts, monthly income, assets, debt, and the ability to pay for long-term care. We do also offer senior rental apartments at many of our communities, including several that are on our campuses at our CCRCs. These are yearly rentals that do not require an entrance fee, but do provide limited access to CCRC services and amenities. Some of these rentals have income limits that apply, and rents are set by the government agency, taking the applicant's income and debt and number of household members into account. So our CCRCs offer beautiful amenity spaces for a vibrant community life. Some of these include fitness and aquatic centers, arts and music rooms, stained glass, woodworking, casual and upscale dining venues, continued education classrooms, libraries, walking trails with natural settings, gardening opportunities. Several of our communities have a model railroad, and all of our communities have a connection to the larger community with volunteer and community service opportunities. So Thrive Wellness is a new wellness program that Presbyterian Senior Living rolled out over the past year. It is resident developed and driven and targets 6 targeted components of wellness that have already started to enhance the life of our residents. The 6 components are vocational, physical, social, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Successful resident challenges are underway, and I know Cathedral Village in Philadelphia and at least a few other communities participated in a STEPS challenge to see how far residents were walking and how active they were staying. Connected Living is another program that rolled out this past year. PSL communities continue to innovate how their residents stay engaged with community happenings, staff, and with each other. This new program helps to streamline work requests for maintenance and housekeeping. Residents can make reservations for dining, check out the entertainment, and set up wellness appointments. It also allows family and friends to stay connected on all things in the community from afar. So next up is Tony Corpus. She is our Extended Care Services Support Manager, and she's going to discuss our at-home services at Presbyterian Senior Living. Tony?
Thank you, Jennifer, and welcome everyone. My name is Tony, and I'd like to speak to you a little bit about at-home services. At-home services is an added in-home support. It delivers additional personalized services to you in your home within the PSL community. It is available to all levels of living. It's provided by an RN, an LPN, or personal care aide, and it does not replace skilled home health services. At-home services is an in-home program that includes therapy and other nursing assistance. The benefit of using PSL's at-home services is that we provide staff that you will become familiar with. Since the staff is located at the Ccrc, we are able to provide 30-minute visits in your home to support your personalized needs. And outside vendors' minimum requirements is generally 2 to 4 hours per visit. Some of the services that at-home services provides are laundry and linen service, running errands, cooking, serving meals, wake up and bedtime assistance, and much, much more. These services can be packaged together based on your daily routine. Common examples include waking up services with assistance with getting up, dressing, showering, and preparing breakfast. Noontime services could include meal preparation, washing dishes, companion services, and getting the mail. Evening services can include assistance with undressing, bathing, your nighttime routine, and getting ready for bed. Adding at-home services to your independent living arrangement with a Ccrc is a great way to help you age in place and receive additional services in your home without needing to move to a higher level of care, meaning personal care or assisted living. And speaking of personal care, I'm pleased to welcome back Jennifer so she can tell us more about additional care options that PSL has to offer. Jennifer?
Thanks, Tony. So with personal care, we already discussed independent living and a Ccrc, at-home services, which is our own home care that can be brought into your independent living home so you can age in place. And the next level of support at a Ccrc is personal care. Like other living options at a Ccrc, personal care helps provide maintenance-free living. You can expect a senior living community that has personal care to provide you or your loved one assistance with daily tasks like taking medications, bathing, dressing, providing meals, and assisting with medical appointments and scheduling. On top of daily necessities, personal care communities help residents stay engaged and involved in activities around the campus and with their peers. In a personal care setting, there is staff available around the clock if your loved one needs any assistance at any time. So many people become confused as to what the difference is between personal care and assisted living. The main difference in Pennsylvania between personal care and assisted living today lies in legislation that was introduced a number of years ago. It separated the two terms and gave each their own defined parameters and licensing. So assisted living still provides similar care to what someone would receive with personal care, but it also can care for people who require more intensive medical attention for a longer duration of time. So personal care cannot provide long-term acute medical care where a person receives active treatment for a severe injury or illness or a chronic medical condition. So because of this, assisted living was created to bridge the services gap. And because legislation is still relatively new, you will find far more personal care than assisted living communities in Pennsylvania. So although this does vary from state to state. There are many myths about what personal care is. One of the myths is that if you move to personal care, you'll give up your independence. Once staff assists with residents' activities of daily living, most residents do spend their days independently, attending classes and social events and visiting with their family and friends. Another myth is that there won't be anything to do all day. Our communities have a community life department, and they coordinate daily activities, classes, and events. Another myth is that personal care is the same thing as a nursing home. Again, most residents are mostly independent, but receive assistance with daily living tasks and meals and medications. So next up, I would like to introduce Kirsten Paca. She is our Corporate Director of Health Center Sales, and she will discuss what skilled nursing services provide. Kirsten?
Hello. Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, everybody. I am so pleased to be with you today. So skilled nursing is an integral part of a CCRC. It offers several different types of care under one roof. Regardless of the reason for skilled care, the service is always provided by licensed nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, and other professionals such as social workers. There is always oversight by a medical doctor. The in-house care team is trained to evaluate, manage, and treat many different conditions. There are several different types of skilled nursing care available. Transitional care, which is commonly known as short-term rehab, can be used for therapy needs or medical needs, frequently after a hospitalization. Length of stay is usually 20 days or less, and this is usually paid for by Medicare or Medicare replacement insurance. People that receive transitional care all live in the same area of the building. There's also long-term care or nursing home care when a person needs help throughout a 24-hour time period with bathing, dressing, getting in and out of bed. Memory care may be a part of this. There are not insurance benefits, and the person that would pay for long-term care, and the person either pays privately or applies for medical assistance if funds are not available. If the individual does have long-term care insurance, it would be used for this type of care. Skilled nursing also offers end-of-life care. This is where medical and supportive care work together that provide service when life is ending. Often, skilled nursing partners with local hospice companies, and together comfort care is provided to the individual. Well, why is this important? Because nobody wants to think about a care need in the future. But having skilled nursing as part of the campus will eliminate a decision when there's a medical crisis. As part of the PSL family, you will have first access to skilled nursing beds if you should need it. And now I'd like to reintroduce Jennifer.
Thank you, Kirsten. So now we are moving into our question and answer portion. Many of you have been submitting your questions throughout the event, but if you have any questions you would like answered, please click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and you can enter your question. Our panel of experts will be on hand to answer any questions that you would like to submit. We still also have Tony and Kirsten with us that can answer any questions for at-home services, skilled nursing, and rehab. So first, I would like to introduce on our panel of senior living experts, Casey Helm. Casey is our sales counselor at Quincy Village, sales counselor for personal care and assisted living, I should say, at Quincy Village in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. Hi, Casey.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Next up, we have Rebecca Hitchens. She is our sales director at Cathedral Village in Philadelphia. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Next up is Julie Nelson. She is our sales director at Glen Meadows Retirement Community in Glen Arms, Maryland.
Good morning.
Julie. And last, we have Leanne Snyder. She is our sales director at Westminster Village at Allentown. Hi, Leanne.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good to see you.
All right, so we do have some questions that are coming in. The first question that I have, I'm going to direct to Casey. Casey, is personal care paid for by Medicare or insurance?
Unfortunately not. Personal care and assisted living are not covered by your traditional medical insurances, Medicare or replacement plans. But if you do have a long-term care insurance policy, it's likely that it would cover part of or all of your personal care or assisted living costs. You'd want to contact the insurance provider directly to learn what they cover.
Great, thank you. Next question I have, I'm going to direct towards Rebecca. Rebecca, how much does residential living at a CCRC generally cost?
So that's a great question. Each community's pricing structure is set up differently. So we do offer, like what Jennifer said earlier in the presentation, ranging from affordable housing to rental options to upscale CCRC communities. So I would recommend contacting the location that would interest you the most or visiting our website to learn a little bit more about that.
Great. Sticking with the finance topic, I'll direct this next one to Leanne. What happens if I run out of money? I think that's a real concern for some.
And it's a really good question. And I'm so proud to tell and share everyone that no one's ever been asked to leave Presbyterian Senior Living should their resources deplete. It's such a unique option, and we're so thrilled to be able to support our residents and keep them as family.
That's great. I'm not sure. So Tony and or Kirsten, not sure which one of you would want to grab this one. But the question is, how do I know what level of care I might need coming into a CCRC community?
Certainly. Tony, I'll get started and you can jump in.
Sure.
So typically, what would happen, at least for skilled nursing, to help get started, we would ask for some medical information to assess whether the person would be at a skilled nursing or a personal care level. But sometimes there are home assessments that can be offered, and I will let Tony talk about that from here.
Sure. And that's also a very good question. It usually starts with a conversation in reference to the other levels of living. It's a conversation where we'd like to get to know the person. It's about them telling us their story. Questions that we would ask is, are there any challenges that they have currently? Are they receiving any type of support? And by the person telling us their story, we can identify what level of living would be best for them. And the goal is always to be in the least restrictive level of living.
Great, thank you. Julie, question for you. Can I move from one community to another within the PSL family?
Yes, absolutely. And the great thing about being a part of Presbyterian Senior Living is that there are communities in every region of Pennsylvania, as well as 2 in Maryland and 1 community in Delaware. Our residents get priority if they are interested in transferring from one community to another. At Glen Meadows, we have had residents transfer here from Pennsylvania, and we've also had residents transfer from Glen Meadows to a Pennsylvania community to be closer to their family.
Great. Question, what are the states in the US that PSL serves? Jennifer, could you grab that one?
Actually, I think Julie just answered that one. We most of our communities are in Pennsylvania. We do have 2 in Maryland, which Julie is a part of at Glen Meadows. And we have Heritage Run as well in Baltimore. We have 1 in Ohio, in St. Clairsville, Ohio. And then we have 1 in Dover, Delaware.
Great. Casey, another question that came in, is there currently a waiting list?
This is going to be a question that should be geared towards specific communities that you might be interested in, because it'll vary based on locations in each of the communities, as well as the levels of living within those communities. So CCRCs might have separate waiting lists for different levels of living.
Great. This next question, I'm going to start with Kirsten. I think it might be in your wheelhouse here, but how do Medicare and CCRC support work together? Either Jennifer or Kirsten, I'm not sure exactly who would be best to address that one.
So I can talk about the Medicare piece. So all skilled nursing communities, including PSL, accept Medicare as the insurance benefit to pay for short-term rehab or transitional care. And so when somebody is part of a CCRC campus, when they have Medicare or a Medicare replacement plan, they would get first access to a skilled nursing bed on campus if they should need it. So if the person lives in independent living and needs skilled nursing, they would come over to skilled nursing when they had that need. And Medicare may or may not pay for it, Medicare would pay for that care. And Jen, I don't know if you'd like to fill in any further.
I would just for independent living and personal care, everything is private pay, so Medicare does not cover any of the monthly fees for those stays. And Casey stated earlier, there are some long-term care policies that may cover personal care, but with independent living, it is all paid privately.
Great. I'm going to send this one to Jennifer. Are there any penalties if one pulls out of a PSL community?
I think it depends on the contract and what level of living. Our rental communities are on a yearly basis. So if they pull out early, there may be a penalty. Our continuing care communities, there's an entrance fee that's paid and it's amortized. So if you leave within a certain amount of time, then you may lose some of your entrance fee. And then for our personal care, I believe those are on a month-to-month basis. So I hope that answers the question.
I have a question here that I'm going to send over to Tony. Do any of the PSL communities offer standalone prepaid in-home care plans, such as the plans offered by Smart Life at Willow Valley or Pathstones through Phoebe?
Honestly, I'd have to defer that question to someone else if they could answer that.
So I can address that one just from a high level, and we can certainly get some more information out to the person who asked this question after. Generally speaking, the at-home services that PSL provides are provided only to residents living on our CCRC campuses. So it would not be a PSL staff member going off of the community providing those services in a current home, but rather a PSL staff member traveling within that community providing services to those who live in independent living arrangements on that actual community.
I can chime in a little bit there. I do know that in some cases, at-home services does have in their wording that we can offer services outside of our community if it is available. I know I can speak to that specifically here at Quincy Village in Waynesboro, but more often than not with our residents' demand for at-home services, we don't have the availability. So it's not out of the question, but it's also not something we offer regularly.
Yeah, our residents do get priority. I know we do go outside of the community for a few communities, but the benefit of having at-home services in independent living especially is that you can get it in half-hour increments where you're only paying, half of the hour, as opposed to if someone were coming from, into your own home, it's 2 to 4 hour minimums, and you might not need them for that long. You might need them a half hour at a time, a few times a day. So it really cuts back on the cost of having in-home care, staying in your home.
Next question will be either for Jennifer or Kirsten. I'm not exactly sure which level of care the question is in regards to, but is there a specific person that gets assigned to our loved one to discuss their health issues, etc.? Kirsten, can you handle that from the skilled nursing perspective, and then Jennifer can talk about it from personal care?
Certainly. Upon admission, the individual would meet with the admissions director, and at that point, after admission, then the care team is introduced, and there is always a social worker, a nurse, the doctor, and at that point, it would be the social worker would probably be the point person for the care during the skilled nursing. But the entire care team, of course, is always available for any questions at any time.
So for independent living or personal care, I believe at our communities, there's a resident service manager. So once they move into the community, if they needed any additional help, they can contact the resident service manager in independent living. Personal care may have a nurse or a resident service manager. Every community is staffed a little differently, but there is always a point person, and anyone is happy to help.
Perfect. So we do have one more question in so far. If anyone else has questions that they've thought of during the conversation, feel free to go ahead, click on that Q&A button at the bottom and put the question in that chat box. We do also have a few participants that are joining from their telephone as opposed to a computer. If you are on the telephone and you would like to ask a question, you can go ahead and press *9 on your keypad. That'll send me a little notification that you have a question, and we can then allow you to ask your question live for our panelists here. So the next question I'm going to send over to Casey. If we started as independent living and need to go to personal care, will this require a physical move?
Happy to answer this one. It's a good question. So if you come to the point where you feel that independent living might not be a good fit for you and you're ready for some additional help, and we've looked at home services for you and then determined that, okay, a move or a higher level of care such as personal care or assisted living is necessary. In some cases, yes, it is a physical move. On a lot of our Ccrc campuses, it is a physical move to another location. In some cases, there are communities that can have licensed personal care services provided within independent living homes. This again would be something specific to ask communities as you're doing your phone calls and emails gathering information. But there's always going to be someone to help you through that process. So you're not going to be just out there trying to figure it out on your own.
I know some of our communities have a unique kind of dual license setup. So Leanne's waving her hand there because I know Westminster Village at Allentown is one of those examples where you can transition from independent living to personal care without needing to move at all, right?
That's exactly right. And we have 3 tiers of those personal care levels. So they can negotiate their way up or down based on the care level need without having to move.
That's great.
A question we got was, are the PSL communities fee for service Plan C? I'm assuming that's Medicare Plan C. So would that be covered under fee for service through that Medicare portion? Kirsten, do you know?
Yes, I do know. So as long as you have Part A benefits in your Medicare, which most people do, that also, the Plan C is also part of that. So you opt into that, and that would be covered. So I think that question, I don't feel like we have all the information, but I hope I answered that question.
Great, thank you. And then we got one more question in here right now. Are there any particular entry packages for PCUSA, Presbyterian Church of the USA, clergy and spouses? Jennifer, is that anything that you're familiar with?
Yes, so we do have a retired pastoral staff scholarship. So that if you are retired Presbyterian, or I don't know if it's Methodist or Episcopal, then they can apply for a scholarship within PSL, and then we can determine if they'd be eligible for any kind of anything off their monthly fee or any discount in entrance fees. So it's case by case, but yes, we have a scholarship fund. So reach out to the community for more information if you'd like.
Great, thank you very much. So that is all the questions that we have received so far today. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our panelists for being with us today, for fielding all of those great questions that we got. And most importantly, I would like to thank all of our attendees for joining us. As we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, our Waypoint series of events, this is just the first one. We have several others that are scheduled over the course of the next several weeks, and we encourage you to sign up and check them all out if they are of interest to you. Actually, we did just get one more question coming in really quickly here. It's a clarification to the earlier question. I was referring to type A life care, type B modified life care, and type C fee for service.
Rebecca, can you answer that question?
Absolutely. So I believe most of the Presbyterian senior living communities do have a fee-for-service structure. Cathedral Village, where I'm at, does also have the type A care inclusive options as well. So we do try to offer a comprehensive list of different contract options within the Presbyterian Senior Living Network. So you should be able to find what you're looking for at least one of our communities.
Great, thank you very much. And again, thank you everyone for joining. If you're interested in seeing any of the rest of the Waypoint event series, you can head over to www.psl.org/events, where you'll see them all listed out there and have the opportunity to register for them. We did receive a few questions that were specific to some of our PSL communities. Those, I believe one of them was answered right in the Q&A panel. If we have any additional information to share, we can reach out one-on-one to you via email as well to get those questions answered. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.